And what they wanted us to do was look at every single tray. And at the time, I was really down on staff. And I said, well, wait a minute. We don't have to open all these trays. We could go back and look at all of the pictures that we took and see if the correct spoon is there or not. So that saved us a ton of work, being able to go back and look at the pictures versus opening all these trays, reprocessing everything, reassembling. So yeah, there's many more benefits with having that final picture or that indicator picture.
Rising above the buzz of ultrasonic cleaners and the clanking of stainless steel are the ideas and voices that are changing an industry. You're listening to the Beyond Clean podcast, the central nexus for the people, processes, and products that are improving our sterile processing world. Each week, we speak with frontline technicians, CEOs, engineers, and entrepreneurs with a common goal: to help you fight dirty, every instrument, every time. Whether you're tuning in for education or inspiration, we're glad you did. Now turn on those washers and turn up the volume. It's time to go beyond clean.
All right, clean freaks, welcome back to another episode of the Beyond Clean podcast. This is season 31, Under Pressure, all about steam sterilization. I'm your host, Bobby Parker, and joining me in studio for this whole season is our guest co-host, Melissa Morgan. Melissa, welcome back to the studio.
Thank you so much, Bobby. So glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here too. You know, I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, and we get a little bit of snow each year, usually just 1 or 2 snowstorms, and we just had one this morning. And so my legs are freezing. I've been sledding down the hill with the kids. I'm ready to sit down and lock in for sterile processing and talk about some SPD stuff. But you're in Central Florida, is that right?
Absolutely. Making sure we were in the pool just yesterday afternoon, enjoying the sunshine.
That sounds so good right now. I'm freezing. Well, we've got a really fun topic. You know, today's episode is one of those conversations where we get connected with somebody in the industry who's doing something cool and immediately know that we've got to bring this person on the podcast and share this story a little bit broader. We cheekily titled the episode CI Robot, using computer vision for sterility assurance, because, you know, AI is eventually going to take over the whole world. You know, if you've ever seen that Will Smith movie. But no, there are some really cool things out there of how computer vision and AI is being used in departments. And this one about using computer vision to help with chemical indicators is a topic I'd never thought about. And we've got a really cool success story to be bringing today. So we will be right back after this short break with Gregory Warino to talk to us about his pretty cool AI project.
From the studios of Healthcare HQ, you're listening to Beyond Clean, the global voice of sterile processing.
And joining us now in studio is Gregory Warino, Director of Central Sterile Processing at Mercy Health in Youngstown, Ohio. Gregory, we're happy to have you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And Gregory, we had a conversation about a month ago, it feels like, about something cool that your department has been doing with your chemical indicator problem. And I just knew that we had to have that conversation on the show here. So I'm excited to get into it. But before we do that, I want to give people an opportunity to get to know you. You want to introduce yourself and, you know, give us a little thumbnail of your career?
Yeah, my name's Gregory Warino. I'm the Director for Central Sterile Processing for Mercy Health Youngstown in Ohio. I've been in perioperative services since 2008. Been working as a sterile processing leader since 2013. And I'm really excited of where we're going with sterile processing, especially using the tracking systems and incorporating AI within the tracking systems to get better outcomes with the trays and products that we produce.
Yeah, it's moving so fast, isn't it? It's crazy. So many opportunities we have in front of us. You introduced yourself as Greg. Is that how we're going to roll with the rest of the episode today? Okay.
That's fine.
All right. You'll be Greg to us, first name basis here. Greg, you said your title is Director of Central Sterile Processing. So have you got a couple of facilities that you're overseeing, or is that a single facility director role? What's that look like?
I have multiple facilities. I oversee operations at 3 hospitals and 1 surgery center.
Okay. When you started out in sterile processing leadership back in, I think you said 2013, did you have a multi-site director role in your sites as like the mountain to climb, or has this been a big surprise for you?
No, when I started in sterile processing, I started as a manager, and I reported to perioperative services director at that time. I've since then have switched organizations. When I started with my current organization, I went in as a supply chain manager who also oversaw the operations of sterile processing. At that time, I got hit with Joint Commission 2 weeks in on the job. The fellow prior to me ignored sterile processing altogether. So, of course, I got hit with Joint Commission big time. We turned around the department right away. And the president of Mercy Youngstown, who is also over all of perioperative services, saw what I did and then offered me the position to be the director of Central Sterile Processing for the market. I never thought it was going to turn out to that, but here I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good things happen when you apply yourself and do a good job and folks notice. So,
Joint Commission is definitely an opportunity to shine, right?
That's right. Well, congratulations on your success. I love to hear success stories like that, and that you're spreading some of that success to the rest of your market there. One more personal question before we get into the technical bits. So the interview today is about an AI solution that your team is implementing. Any background you have in, doing computer science stuff or just kind of a personal hobby? Because it usually takes a special kind of innovative thinker to really be one of the first guys through the wall implementing a new technology like this. So I'm just curious what inspired you.
I really don't have any background with it. I'm more or less just working with the census team and trying to come up with ideas how to better their system. We were doing some work with AI with instruments, and it led to chemical integrators.
Yeah, I love that. Well, we love talking to innovators and shakers and movers in the industry. And so, yeah, even if it's not your solution, sometimes just being the one brave enough to try something new and say, hey, we could make this better. That's, I'm sure, really valuable for the team that you're working with from your instrument tracking perspective, but also for your organization. So enough teasing about the topic. Greg, why don't you walk us through what was the problem that you had with indicators in your facility and why you took the route of going to your tracking system and AI to try to solve that problem.
Yeah. So just trying to get a chemical integrator into every tray. We've done multiple attempts putting the indicator on the count sheet, putting notes up, trying to convince staff to put the indicator in the tray as the very first thing, or maybe as the very last thing. And it seems like no matter what we did, there was always a missing indicator. And it was the worst case is if it was a one-of-a-kind tray, gets up to the OR and they open the tray, they need it, and there's no indicator. So now they can't use it. So after a couple of incidents, I was working with SensorTrack, and we were working with the instruments, trying to identify instruments with AI. And after a couple of instances, I said, instead of looking at the instruments right now, I know a big win would be indicators. Because I just had a couple occurrences that this happened. It's like, what if we could train the AI to look for an indicator? So, of course, the team in Census said, yeah, we can make that happen. So we ended up going that route. And then Youngstown, with my 3 hospitals, we were one of the first to be test pilots. And we kept testing the machine or the AI over and over, getting staff to use the feature. And Census has since launched their co-pilot program where it will recognize indicators within trays and say if it's missing or not.
Yep. And you've got all the royalties on that idea, right? Just kidding. So, but that's really cool. That's really cool. So I can certainly resonate with that problem. The issue of indicators being in trays, I've been a technician. Melissa, I'm sure that you've experienced the same of like, we've done all this work on this tray. I had everything ready. Like you said, Greg, it may be the only one in the house, but there's not an indicator in it. And we've tried all the same solutions with the pop-ups, with putting it physically as an item on the count sheet that has to be physically checked off. We've tried, the pop-up that has verifications that they have to type their initials into or scan their badge saying, I verify that it's in there. We've tried the double checkers of having the second person check for the indicator. And you're right, there is no perfect system that will eliminate the indicator issue. Although I did visit a facility one time that had a triple check, Melissa. They had somebody set up the tray. They had another person come back, take the instruments apart and reset up the tray. And then the third person was the one who would package it and confirm the indicators are in there. And they hadn't had a missed indicator for a very long time in that facility. But my goodness, what an investment from a staffing perspective.
And an efficiency perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like how many trays are you processing?
Yeah,
with
for
three
sure.
people doing it.
All right. So how does this system, how does it work? You mentioned kind of a computer vision and it's able to see the indicators. Is there like a special station that all the trays have to move through, or how does it identify the indicators for you?
So we use webcams. Those are set up at every workstation. They're mounted right up by the lights. And what happens is we assemble the tray, mark off everything that's inside that tray. And then once we hit complete, a camera will appear on the screen. And then we have to hit the take picture button. And at that time, it takes about 1 second for the image to be recorded. And then the AI recognizes if an indicator is in the tray or if it's not. Now, sometimes it will say that it's not there and it's there. And we found it's more of a lighting issue because we all have, bright lights inside the department. But if we just move that indicator slightly, it will pick up that it's there. And then we have that recorded picture. The beauty of it is we have a recorded picture. So anytime that the OR is saying that we've missed that indicator, we can go back and look at that and say, was it there or was it not? And we have that picture proof.
Yeah, that's the technician's dream because, I don't know if either of y'all have ever been talked to or written up for a missing indicator that you're sure is in there, or been on the other side of the desk, I'm sure, and talked with folks about it. And they're like, nah, I'm sure it was in there. And all you've got to go on is, this is what the OR was telling me. So yeah, having that picture would be cool.
I've never been written up for it, Bobby, but I sure have popped a few locks in my days to make sure it was in there.
Yeah. You're like laying down on the pillow at night and thinking, man, I can't remember if that whole stack of loaners has indicators in it. So yeah, that's it. You don't want to be in that situation for sure. Greg, the AI workflow. So you said there's webcams at the station. Are these like attached to the workstation, like looking down at the table, or are they on the computers? Like, I'm just trying to get a mental picture of what your setup looks like.
Yeah, no, I ended up mounting them to the lights above the workstation. We use the old Steris tables. Most tables are similar.
Right.
Sterile Processing. So
the ones that go up and down with the big light bar overhead.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So you've got a camera that's looking down at the, at the whole workstation then. And then how have you integrated the computer vision piece into it? Is it just when you're finished with the count sheet and click I'm finished, it just pauses for a second to look for an indicator? Is that how that goes?
So yeah, once you hit the finish button of assembling the tray within Census, then the picture will come up on the screen. It will take about a second, and the AI just looks for that indicator in the tray and says it's here or it's not there. In the beginning, they also had the option of a thumbs up or thumbs down. So we were able to tell the Census people if an indicator was inside the tray and it wasn't recognizing, we were able to give it a thumbs down, and they had that data to go back and adjust the system to make it work a little bit better.
So I have this vision of Big Brother hanging over my head, making sure I'm doing the right thing.
I think we're all thinking it, Melissa.
So, Greg, how did your staff, did they have challenges or concerns about this technology resulting in other processes for inspection? Just curious.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the very beginning, when I said, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to be a test pilot, when I told them that we're going to take additional steps to do this, and then it may not work 100% at a time, I got a lot of mean faces at me. But the benefit was, I said we would have the picture proof of anything that we did. So if there was an incident of saying, hey, there's no indicator, we would be able to go back and show the picture proof of that. That got total buy-in. And then as we worked with the system, giving the thumbs up, thumbs down, and getting Census to tweak their system a bit, it got better and better. We went from a 3-second picture down to a 1-second picture, and staff are loving it because we have that picture proof. It only takes a second, and it slows them down for that 1 second to really make sure that indicator is inside that tray.
I'm thinking through this value of having the picture piece and how that was a big cultural win. I can certainly think of a couple of examples in my days of where if we had had a picture of what the tray looked like when we put it together, that would have been a big win for us, just in having a conversation and trying to figure out what had happened. Probably the craziest example of that is somebody lost their name badge and we couldn't figure out where it was. And after enough searching, we actually looked through some security video of what happened to be going on in that corner of the department and found some timestamps of when they had it, when they hadn't had it. And the only thing that happened in between there is they wrapped some loaners and we popped them all open and there was a melted name badge inside of one of those loaners. I'm so thankful we caught it. But having those images would be helpful. Has this process change ended up helping in any of those kinds of unexpected ways that didn't have anything to do with indicators?
Absolutely. I've had multiple occurrences where maybe a tray looks like it was never assembled. And I would get the picture from the manager or perioperative director saying, hey, this is how it was sent to us. And we were able to go back and pull that image and say, well, here's when we assembled it last. This is what it looked like. I also had just a very recent event where it was with Joint Commission, and they found a spoon, a peel pack spoon, and it wasn't the correct type of spoon, but it was something from 2008. So then they started popping open trays. And what they wanted us to do was look at every single tray. And at the time I was really down on staff, and I said, well, wait a minute. We don't have to open all these trays. We could go back and look at all of the pictures that we took and see if the correct spoon is there or not. So that saved us a ton of work, being able to go back and look at the pictures versus opening all these trays, reprocessing everything, reassembling. So yeah, there's many more benefits with having that final picture or that indicator picture.
Yeah, for sure. So thinking through kind of the change management piece of it, you had some understandable opposition at the front end. What did that adoption look like for your team? How long would you say it took for you to go from announcing a new idea to everybody being on board and finding some success with it where it's not getting in the way of workflow?
I think it took about a series of 3 months, just really getting the system tweaked and getting total buy-in, especially after a couple of occurrences where we had the OR say there was no indicator or there was something wrong with the tray. And we were able to go back and prove that, no, this is the way we assembled it. The indicator was there. Here's the picture proof. And just showing that once we did that a couple of times, I got total buy-in at all 3 sites with all staff taking those pictures. And then also tweaking it from a 3-second video or picture down to a 1 second. That also got a lot of buy-in.
Yeah, I would imagine 3 seconds felt much longer than 3 seconds really is. As fast as they move sometimes in that closing that tray, getting it off the table space. So Greg, I'm fascinated by this process and why didn't I think about it before they did? And so when you think about, your data, your results, where did you start and where are you currently? And have you seen any backslides or things that continue to improve?
I haven't pulled any real data for this yet. I can tell you that we haven't had many incidences of a missing indicator. And usually when we do, we have that picture proof that no, it was there. which make me think is the OR moving too fast and it's flying out, because we have that picture of proof it was there during the assembly. I did have a recent incident where a picture was not taken, so it didn't have anything to prove. But also had that conversation with that technician saying, hey, this is saving us. Just make sure that we're taking that picture. And I honestly don't know how he missed taking the picture, because I have it built into the workflow. It's a requirement. The only thing I can think of is maybe he shut down the system at that time for some reason.
Yeah, that was going to be my question is it a forcing function? Like, is it a requirement to get the count sheet? You can't move forward until you've got that picture with the computer vision giving you the thumbs up on the indicator.
Yeah, no, I built it into the workflow so that it is a requirement.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'd love to hear about the data and the results on that of, what your trend graph looked like from number of reported missing indicators from before and after. But it sounds like, at least kind of experientially, it's plugged a few holes in the dam of phone calls that you're getting from the OR. So that's very cool.
So as we think about technology and the team realizing how helpful this was, has it spawned their thoughts around other ways to use technology in this kind of process improvement type work?
We've been brainstorming with it. How can we keep going with this type of technology? One is, to recognize instruments, but that takes a lot of work programming, I would imagine, and trying to get every single instrument that's out there. I don't want to say impossible, but it's going to take a lot of time. One win I think would happen is with the orthopedic total joint sets. We know that those typically come back to us all mixed up. And maybe if we could use that AI to recognize just those instruments, and maybe there's something that says, hey, this instrument doesn't belong in this tray, but it goes to that one. That would, maybe prevent missing instruments in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be huge, because most of the time those orthopedic ones are loaners, so we're not familiar with them. We don't get trained on them. I have similar thoughts about instrument recognition. I think it's powerful for really strange or odd instruments you're not used to seeing and nobody can figure out what it is. And there are a couple of platforms out there that are doing a lot of really great work on that instrument identification piece of it for just, building your major ortho tray or your general major tray. It almost feels like it would slow you down more than help identifying, yes, that is a 6-inch curved cryle, not the most helpful, but yeah, things that you're not identifying or not trained to be able to identify in SPD, like those orthopedic loaner trays, and being able to tie it back to who it belongs to. I think that would be pretty powerful. I'm convinced most of the instruments that we lost from our orthopedic vendors went out of the hospital in somebody else's tray. Like, we put the Stryker thing in a DePuy tray and DePuy picked their trays up and off it goes, never to be seen again. So yeah, if we could figure out how to stop some of that, I think that would be pretty powerful. Thinking about your setup, Greg, with, you've got a webcam on your workstations and a button that you click to take a picture. I'm sure from a development standpoint, from a computer vision standpoint, there's a lot of complexity that goes on behind the scenes that your instrument tracking system team was able to help you with. At the same time, and I don't think it would be terribly hard at all to Mickey Mouse this thing and just have a webcam with a camera button that you just... Melissa, is that the second time I've said Mickey Mouse science on this season? I didn't come up with other illustrations.
I think it's because I'm in Orlando, Bobby. You're just destined for the Magic Kingdom or something here.
That's true. I look at you and I think, yeah, that Mickey Mouse is the right illustration. But you could MacGyver this thing and have pictures at your workstations and be able to succeed. Or am I simplifying this too much? What do you think?
No, I think it's very possible. The issue is, if you were to go back to pull that data, I don't know how. You may have a lot of pictures to look through to try to find the exact tray that you're looking for. And then just getting a picture, or how do you identify that tray as what it is?
Yeah.
So that's
true. Where do you store the files, and how do you name the files where it's findable? Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, here's the gauntlet being thrown down for our instrument tracking systems. Even if it's not incorporated into some kind of AI computer vision, make a way to attach a photo to a count sheet so that it lives with that sterilization record, like what you're talking about. And, if we have to shortcut the computer vision piece of it for identifying a chemical indicator. I think at least having that photo, it would have changed some of the conversations culturally that we had. I can definitely see that benefit.
Hey, Bobby, I have a follow-up question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Greg, it didn't matter what kind of indicator you used, right? Like it, for low temp or steam, I mean, it just senses that indicator.
Correct. It just recognizes that indicator. And I think it's really looking for that rectangle shape. That's what the AI is looking for. I think, if I remember correctly, back in the very beginning, the indicators that had the long tail, the extender piece, I think we had a little bit of issue with those. But other than that, it's just looking for that rectangle.
Yeah. And it sounds like all things computer vision, it probably gets smarter the longer you use it. I imagine, new weird indicators are going to show up and it'll figure it out and then keep on moving with identifying it the right way. Have you run into any issues where somebody's stuck because the thing won't let them finish a tray? Like, it just, for whatever reason, can't see the indicator, or has it been pretty smooth at this point?
So in the very beginning, yes, that did happen. But since we've tweaked it, no, it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Crazy. It seems such an obvious solution of, because we're all the time talking about having an extra set of eyes to make sure that we got the indicators in there. Why not train some computer eyes to be able to do that for us? Makes a lot of sense. Well, Greg, we're about out of time here, but I want to give you the last word. Any final exhortations for teams out there that are maybe trying to figure out how to innovate or how to improve their departments using technology?
I would just say go for it. We know Census already has this, but I'm not sure if there's other tracking systems out there that have used anything like this. But just keep going for it. Throw those ideas out to those tracking systems. Maybe they will work with you and build it into your current tracking system.
Awesome. Well, Greg, congratulations on getting this implemented in your facility and getting now to reap the benefits of some hard work early on and earning the trust of the team. I am sure that you're going to think of some other clever ways to use AI and computer vision to help improve reliability in your departments. I think this is a fantastic example of what we often talk about with AI in sterile processing, not necessarily so concerned that AI is coming for all our jobs because there's a very human element to this. But how can we use AI to help augment our technicians to make them more reliable, to make the difficult and redundant tasks of the department more reliable? And you knocked it out of the park. So thanks for sharing your story with us today, Greg.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, is LinkedIn the best way for them to reach you?
Yes.
All right. Well, reach out to Greg on LinkedIn. Hey, one more thanks again, Greg, for joining us on the interview.
All right, thank you.
And that was Gregory Warino, Director of Central Sterile Processing at Mercy Health in Youngstown, Ohio. And Melissa, what a cool story of what they're doing out there. I mentioned it earlier in the episode. I really do love talking to the folks who have an idea. They find somebody who's got the ability to deliver on that idea, and they just roll it out in their department and see what they can do with it. And it sounds like it's been a big success for them.
Yeah, it's such a cool idea. And, continually ask myself why I didn't think of that.
What's wrong with us, Melissa?
Earlier in my career, seriously, Bobby, but we're going to do the podcast about it. So we'll be good.
That's right. That's too funny. I did have an indicator idea a long time ago, long before computer vision, and not nearly as sophisticated or as sleek as this, because I wanted some kind of forcing function like that you cannot click the complete button until you were sure there was an indicator in the tray. So what I had pictured was an indicator, a chemical indicator, like dispenser vending machine robot box, just a little box on your table. And when you try to hit count sheet, first you have to click, give me my indicator, and it dispenses two of them out for you. And you take them and you put it in the tray and then you hit OK. But if you try to hit OK before it's dispensed those, or if you try to hit OK and they're still hanging out of the dispenser, it won't let you keep going. Some kind of forcing function like that. but somebody I'm sure would still manage to take them out of the machine and set them on the counter and not put them in the box. So
100%.
This is definitely the right answer. So I hope that it has inspired some folks to ask some questions and, go to Best Buy and get them some webcams and start talking to IT. Cause I think, definitely a good way to implement this technology for higher reliability. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. Not the most related to steam sterilization, but certainly, when we're talking about getting sterile trays to the OR, having that chemical indicator in there is so important. We will be back next week on this season 31 coming at you about under pressure steam sterilization. But until we talk to you then, we'll leave you as we always do here at Beyond Clean. On behalf of Melissa, myself, and the rest of the team, keep fighting dirty.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Beyond Clean. As a reminder, you can help support us by subscribing to Beyond Clean on your favorite podcast app, or by downloading the smartphone app on iPhone or Android. Simply search for Beyond Clean in the App Store or Google Play. The best thing about downloading the smartphone app is that you can access bonus content for certain episodes and view episodes in certain categories, like articles on the go and vendor spotlights. Are you following us on LinkedIn or Facebook yet? If you are and you love an episode or post, then let your social network know about it. Like, comment, or share our posts along with your thoughts and keep the conversation going. If you have any topics or guests that you would like to recommend for a future episode, just send us an email to info@beyondclean.net. We look forward to hearing from you.